So, what if I told you that the biggest threat to the US economy isn't what you see on the news every night? It's not a trade war, it's not the latest inflation numbers, it's something a lot closer to home. We're going to show you why the housing crisis isn't just a social problem, but actually a critical flaw in our entire economic engine.
And this number right here? This is why we're talking about this now. Housing affordability in the US is at its lowest point in 40 years. That's a whole generation. And this isn't just a headache for people trying to buy a house. It's a massive brake pedal being slammed on our whole economy. It's affecting everything.
You know, for decades, we've basically been treating a cannonball wound with a Band-Aid. We've walled off housing as this separate social issue, something for one little corner of the government to handle. But that's a huge mistake. It's a self-inflicted economic wound that's holding back our future.
So how in the world did we get here? Well, to really get it, we need to look at this powerful mechanism that used to be the secret sauce of American prosperity, but is now completely seized up. It's the reason that classic advice to just move to where the jobs are sounds like a cruel joke to so many people today.
Think of it like a pressure release valve for the economy. For generations, it worked beautifully. When things got too expensive in, say, New York or LA, people could pack up and move to booming, affordable cities like Phoenix or Atlanta or Dallas. This constant flow of people moving to opportunity, it kept the whole national economy humming. And if you want to see that valve slam shut in real time, just look at this chart. Back in the 70s, Phoenix was a perfect example of that safety valve in action, building new homes at an incredible 9% annual growth rate. Fast forward to the 2010s, and that growth has collapsed to just 1%. The escape hatch for American workers just vanished.
And honestly, this quote just says it all. When people can't move to where the jobs are, our entire economic engine starts to sputter. It's like trying to run a high-performance engine without a single drop of oil. Sooner or later, it's just going to grind to a halt.
Okay, so who's responsible for breaking this system? The answer might actually surprise you. You see, the biggest player in your local housing market, it's probably not your mayor or your city council. It's Washington, and their approach, well, it's been a total mess.
Get this, 2/3, 67%, of all the money that states and cities spend on housing and community development comes directly from the federal government. That isn't just a little bit of influence. For all practical purposes, that's control.
But here's the kicker. This isn't some coordinated national strategy. It's a complete free-for-all. You've got the Treasury, Fannie and Freddie, the VA, the Department of Agriculture, even the Department of Transportation. All of them are involved in housing, but nobody's in charge. There's no quarterback calling the plays.
So with all these different agencies spending all this money, where is it actually going? Well, the data is crystal clear. The vast majority of federal housing support goes to subsidizing homeowners and investors, mostly through tax benefits. It's a system that's way better protecting existing wealth than it is at creating new, affordable supply for the workforce.
And it's not just about how the money is spent. It's about the incredible amount of red tape involved. There's what you could call a regulatory tax in this country, and it makes building new homes so expensive that it strangles our housing supply right at the source.
I mean, just look at these numbers. They're staggering. For a typical single-family home, almost a quarter of the final price tag is just the cost of dealing with regulations. And for multifamily buildings, apartments, the exact kind of housing we need more of in our big job centers, it's over 40%. That's a massive hidden tax on affordability.
And here's one of the biggest reasons why. On about 60% of the residential land in America's largest metro areas, regulations like height restrictions essentially outlawed density. We are forcing a 21st century economy to cram itself into a 20th century building code, and it is a recipe for economic stagnation.
Okay, so the problem is obviously big, it's deep, it's systemic. But here's the good news, and it is really good news. This is not an unsolvable crisis. We can fix this. There are 3 powerful, common-sense pathways that can turn this whole situation around.
So here's the game plan. It boils down to 3 core ideas. First, align our investments. Second, leverage the land we already own. And third, use smart policy to unlock the supply that's already there. Let's break that down.
All right, first up, let's stop being so inefficient. We pour billions of dollars into massive transportation projects, like new rail lines. So why on earth aren't we using those same federal financing tools to build housing right next to them? It's a no-brainer. You attack the 2 biggest costs for working families, housing and transportation, at the exact same time.
The second solution has been hiding in plain sight this whole time. the federal government is the single biggest landowner in the United States. It owns about a third of all the land in the country. It's a massive, underutilized asset, and it's time we put it to work.
So the idea is to create a kind of modern-day Homestead Act. Instead of getting stuck in endless local zoning fights, the federal government could offer long-term leases on its land. Notice I said lease, not sell. This would allow us to cut through the red tape and let builders build the housing we need where we need it most.
And finally, the third pathway might be the quickest win of them all. Let's unlock the housing we already have. Just imagine if we created a simple tax incentive for homeowners to rent out a spare room. With one smart policy change, we could potentially add millions of affordable rooms to the market, almost overnight, without building a single new thing.
So the big takeaway here is simple, but it's profound. Housing isn't just a symptom of our economic problems. In many ways, it's the cause. If we want to have a dynamic, stable, and growing economy for everyone, we have to start by building a strong foundation of affordable, accessible housing. Look, the path forward is clear. It's time to break down the silos in Washington. We need Treasury, Transportation, HUD, and everyone else on the same page working toward a single, coherent national goal. It is time to start treating housing like the critical piece of economic infrastructure that it is.
And so we'll leave you with this question to think about in your own community. What's that big, underused piece of public land near you? An old post office? A forgotten government complex? That isn't just empty space. It's a potential solution waiting to be unlocked.
If you found this useful and it gave you a new way to think about this issue, please subscribe for more explainers like this one and share it so more people can see it. Thanks for watching.